this is the number one skill you want to develop, because literally you're one recruit away from doubling your business. You're one recruit away from creating momentum in your business. And by the way, for some of you, that one recruit is you. You are that. You need to recruit yourself. You need to go all in and have a passion for this profession if you want the big results. You can't have big time goals and dreams and have a teeny weeny commitment, a teeny tiny discipline. The tips you're going to get in this conversation are going to be invaluable. So Rob, if somebody's like, okay, I'm ready. I want to make this my best year. I want to start some new teams. I'm ready to relaunch my business. And I don't want to just sell some product and have, a part-time spare time income. I want to create a full-time income. Would you say recruiting is the number one thing they need to focus on?
100%, because without recruiting, there is no duplication. Everyone always talks about duplication and retention. There's nothing to duplicate or retain if you don't have any new people coming in your business, right? And also, if you did bring new people in your business and then you stop duplicating or stop recruiting, then that's going to duplicate. So in reality, it's one of the most important, if not, it's actually the most important thing. Now, of course, there's lots that go into it, like, when do I approach them and how do I invite, and how much is online, and all of those different things. And those are like different things that hit the center, the core of what's the most important thing. And I know you would agree. And that's why, for you to see you have your best year ever sponsoring is pretty freaking cool, because we hear cliches, right? Like speed of the leader, speed of the pack. We kind of roll our eyes after hearing it 100 times. But in reality, it's true. You can't cheat the grind, and you can't try to pitch everybody to do what you once did, but not what you're currently doing. And I even did that, not even as a leader, as like my second month in the business. I was like, I did good recruiting first month, so I'm going to go be the manager and support them and hope they just one or two do what I did. And I stopped, and they all stopped with me.
What would you say to someone that's like, hey, I want to become a top recruiter, and then eventually a top earner? What would you say are like 3 major keys to creating that result in your business, having your best recruiting month? Like, what would be the thing to focus on?
Yeah. So the most important thing, which all of you already know, but it's still the thing you struggle with the most, which is why you need to hear it over and over and over again. However you want to say the word: discipline, focus, schedule. Those are all probably really bad words to all of you. You feel like I'm saying the F word to you right now. That's where it starts. There's a lot more to it, but you'll find that you spend so much time on this business thinking about working, and not actually working. And let's just simplify. Let's just say you only have 5 hours a week. If you legit spent 3.5 of those hours reaching out to new people every single week, how many new invites would you make? Because invites don't take that long. And I know invites lead to follow-ups, but that can be part of the other hour and a half every single week, right? I mean, group chats, they don't take that long. John, I'll ask you this question. How many people do you think you could reasonably reach out to in 3.5 hours a week?
I'm a freak. I'm like crazy about my time, and I'm so efficient, so effective. And I think that's probably, for a lot of people, their biggest weakness is, and you kind of mentioned it, they're kind of like haphazardly building their business. They're too casual, and they're not treating it like a business. You have to understand that, like, you're the CEO of your business. You're the CEO of your life. And it's just making a decision. Like, I start tweaking out a little bit. Like, I feel weird if I don't talk to anyone new. Like, if I'm not, talking to personal prospects about my business for like multiple days. Like, if like 2, 3, 4 days go by and I'm just like working with my team, I start like tweaking a little bit. Like, what's going on? Like, I need to have some like business conversations with some new people, right? And you hit the nail on the head with the cliche, right? It's like speed of the leader, speed of the team, right? I always wanted to lead by example. And it was kind of a mentality I learned even in the mortgage industry when I did like regular sales, is that I wanted, even if I had 10 loans in my pipeline, I wanted to fill my pipeline with new deals every single week. Every single week. It wasn't really feasible to have a new deal every day, right, in the mortgage industry. But if I had 10 loans in the pipe, I wanted 10 more right behind it. Because what if those 10 died? What if those 10 deals didn't close? Like, I'm screwed, right? So I always wanted to keep filling the funnel, filling the pipeline. And I think, if someone has 3, 4, 5 hours a week to put into their business, obviously we talk, like you said, curiosity posts and attraction marketing and personal development and all these different things, but there really isn't anything more important than having business conversations. And, the truth is, some of you just have to make it a priority. You need to focus on it, because sometimes we spend too much time. We're busy being busy. We're busy being busy versus busy getting wealthy. And if you want to build wealth, if you want to create a significant income, you want to build an empire, a massive bank account, right? An MBA, it all starts with you having business conversations every single day. And for those of you that aren't really prepared for that, at least having conversations about your products every single day.
Sure.
And then when someone says, yes, I'm open, then you can transition into seeing if they're open to take a look at the opportunity as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking right now out loud. I mean, conservatively, I don't really think it'd be hard if someone had even 4 or 5 hours a week to do 25 invites.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 4 or 5 hours dedicated. Because when you break it down, an approach doesn't take very long. I mean, you're not going to be on for 5 minutes, with the way most people are approaching other people.
Yep.
I get it. You're super, super warm market. Maybe that's the case. But most of you aren't there yet. That's your first month. And so if that's
Right.
the case, let's say 25 a week, that means 100 a month. And if we did 100 a month, that means 1,200 a year. If you had a conversion rate of even 5%, you're enrolling 60 people a year. And if of those 60 people, only 10% of them are pretty good, we're not even saying superstars, that means you got 6 people that are pretty good. You think, though, if you're doing that, how that duplicates among your teams, because everyone's trying to pretend like they're working as they go. And so not only do you have to do it, you also have to put it in your calendar. So if I were working with you, I'd say, okay, when you're reaching out to people, today or tomorrow, I want to see it in your calendar. So that way, if John tells me, hey, tomorrow I'm reaching out to new people from noon to 1 p.m. Okay, great. Right? Because he figured out that's his flow. He can do an hour. Some of you, maybe it's 20 minutes and then you're a break, and 20 minutes later. Some of you, maybe it's an hour and a half. I don't really care. Each person has different flow. Figure that out. But the main thing is in the schedule. Well, something pops up for John where John's like, crap, I don't have any time. I can't do this. Guess what? He's going to instantly reschedule that time because it's a priority. So noon no longer works for him. So he's going to move it to 10 a.m. or he's going to move it to 2 p.m. or he's going to have to double up tomorrow. But do you see how you're always taking the most important time and you're making that priority? My mentor taught me, he said, is what I'm doing right now making me the most amount of money? And I wrote that down and I put that on my desk and I kept like challenging myself. And this is even and you know this, because even John's as good as it gets with time, but I guarantee it's the same with him. I looked at, I was the number one recruiter of a million distributors, and I looked at it, I'm like, crap, I waste a lot, maybe most of my time. If I am, what is everyone else doing? Right. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's where it all really, really starts, to schedule it, put it in, right? Dedicate time where that's the only thing that you're doing. If you can't fulfill with that, you have to instantly move it to a time that you're going to do it. Because otherwise, right, you don't even have a plan. You just have a simple wish or dream or hope that's never going to happen.
Yeah. And I love the 25 a week, because it really is a great way to, it means because 5 a day if you're working 5 days a week, right? And it really is a great way to track your numbers. You can't outsource someone else doing your push-ups. And listen, I don't love working out. I'm not like, oh my gosh, I love picking things up and putting it back down and doing all my deadlifts and but
yeah, you were allergic to working out a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I hated it. I hated working out. And look, I would rather be working. I'd rather be hanging out with my kids, my dogs, my wife, or I'd rather do a million other things, but I want the results. And that's where, I don't like the whole conversation around, you got to love what you do. Sure. I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, I love what I do, but I think there's aspects of what we do that we don't love. Like, nobody loves recruiting, just like nobody loves doing push-ups, but it's about getting the results. Now, you love the results. You love
nobody loves reaching out and your best friend is like, I can't believe you're doing that thing. You're like, oh, that was so amazing. I just got rejected by John today, and I'm feeling so warm and fuzzy. I'm done for the day. That was the best feeling I've ever had. Darren Hardy said, right, in the entrepreneur roller coaster, he said 95% of entrepreneurs hate what they do, right? As far as the action, the activity, 95% of the things they do. but it's
Right.
the result like John's talking about. And I think that's important because everyone's just like, love what you do. And everyone's like, oh, I don't love reaching out and getting
Yeah.
rejected.
Well,
What's
and they think
wrong
there's
with
something
me?
wrong with them, right? That's right. They think like, why aren't I enjoying this? Like nobody enjoys that. Nobody enjoys having someone say, no, I don't really like your products, or no, I decided to partner up with someone else or join a different company, or, network marketing is a pyramid scheme. No one's like, yes, gosh, this is so awesome. That was exactly what I was hoping you would say. The only difference in me and Rob and anyone that's been a top recruiter, a 7-figure, 6-figure, big time earner, they just got rejected more than you. Period. End of story. I've had more no's. I put more people in the funnel. I've had way more situations of adversity and challenge than other people. Like some of the things I've been through, same with you, right, Rob? It's like some of the things we've experienced. Like most people, if they would have dealt with the things we dealt with, that would have clean blown them out. They've been like, I am not cut out for this. And that's why we're winning today. You don't know what we lost in our losing season. You don't know what we went through. You don't know some of the things. Well, maybe some of you do because you follow Rob, you follow me, but a lot of you don't understand the sacrifice and the amount of, riding the struggle bus and second guessing everything we were doing and thinking we weren't cut out for it. The difference in success stories and unsuccessful people are the successful people keep going when it's hard. They keep going even when they don't feel like it, because your dreams and goals, they don't care about your feelings. And you can't have a testimonial if you're never tested. So when you're in those moments of trial and you're going through the struggle, just know like this is normal. But the best thing I can suggest, and I kind of talked about this in the beginning, is to keep filling your funnel with more people. And it's like, Nadya always talks about like, why would you drag out those 100 conversations, right? Rob said 25 a week. Like there's people that do 25 business conversations a year. It's like they're dragging it out. It's like, why not just have like 25 conversations a week, or, maybe for some of you that have a little more time, 25 conversations a day. Now, with that being said, Rob, I want to transition. I want to pivot. The other thing that obviously you hear and I hear often is, what do I say to people? Like, I feel uncomfortable reaching out to people. Like, am I cold messaging people? What do you typically suggest in that situation?
Some people do better when they approach people in the first conversation. Some people do better when they approach people in the second or third conversation. Some people like to say, approach people how they would want to be approached. Here's the problem. You got no freaking clue how they want to be approached. You don't have time for assessments and tests and all that stuff. It's like, hey, take this test, right? They're like, you're weird.
Yeah.
So
here's a personality test,
say,
so I can figure out how to approach you.
It's like, I say, approach people how you would want to be approached.
Amen.
So not the first message. First conversation's okay. And after the third conversation is way too long. Right? Because you can't be like, John, I've spoken to Sally for about 6 years now. Do you think it's appropriate? Right? I mean, I'm exaggerating, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's like first, second, or third conversation is great. But if you're the person that you are so annoyed when someone approaches you in the first conversation, it's probably not what you should do, because that's not the bold version of you. If you're the person that is so annoyed someone didn't approach you in the first conversation, then you probably should. That's the first step. The second tip is I'm really big just on split testing. Yep. You may not know. Well, I mean, we don't know for you because each one of you is different. So just test it. Just approach 30 people in the first conversation, 30 people in, just say the third conversation. You're going to go back and you're going to look and you're going to say, winner, winner, chicken dinner. Wow, I do a lot better than I thought in the first. Or you're going to say, you know what, it's sixes. And if it's sixes, you might as well do it sooner and faster, right? And so, I tell people that I'll give them principles, because I've seen so many people have success in different ways. And the principle is not too soon, which would be the first message, and not too long, which would be after the third conversation. You're stuck in the friend zone and it's like really awkward and you don't know what to say. So That's what I would do. Now, it depends. Are you approaching someone about the business? Are you approaching someone about being a product user, right? There's different types as you go. A lot of people, product users, they like to ask transition questions, right? If I'm big into supplements, I'm talking to someone like, hey, random question. What do you take for supplements, if any, every single day? Now, usually when I ask that, they're going to ask me back. Well, what about you? What do you take?
Yeah.
What if they don't? If they don't, I still just ask. So, I mean, I wrote a whole book, right? I've written too many books, the ultimate script book, and it's all on scripts and different things like that. But that's some of the things that, you know, I do and say, and I know for you, like you're a master at it, and you're just really good at just steering conversations in the right direction. And then for you eventually, and sometimes that's really quick, you just straight up ask, but you do it in a way that's very bold, but it doesn't come off as salesy, which is what I like about your
Yeah.
style. Like you're straightforward, but you're
Yep.
not, it just doesn't come off as annoying or salesy.
Right. And you almost have to have a mentality of, you can't be addicted to the outcome, number one. Number two, but you also have to have the mentality of like, you got to have some thick skin. You have to be okay with like, yeah, sometimes it is going to be awkward. Sometimes people are going to be, especially if it's someone that is just getting started. For those of you that are fairly new, you might get some haterade thrown your way. You might get some people that are a little tough, you know, because you're brand new and they know they can push you around a little bit. But let me promise you this, if you keep going and you show them what you're capable of and you create results, not only will the haters shut up, but you won't care what they have to say anyway. It's tough in those early days. Like I remember the early days, there were some people that I approached because I was direct and I was excited, and you know they blew me out of the water. They were super negative and super, you know, like some of them were so bad that they went and told my other friends, like, hey, if Melton hits you up, don't take his call, don't go to the meeting. He's in some pyramid scheme. And you know, it was tough, but it actually kind of flamed my fire. You know what I mean? It was like fuel for the fire. It was like, let me go prove these people wrong. And if you can't handle rejection, which is really just redirection, if you can't handle some people making fun of you or people talking smack, like you're not ready for success. You're not prepared for the blessing. You're not ready for prosperity and abundance and, you know, all the things that come with it. And I think ultimately the sooner we just say, you know what, I'm going to marry the process, divorce the result. I'm going to plant some seeds, because no is not no forever. I'm not going to take it personal. It's just no, not now. No, not yet. And I think for those of us that want to get better, you're going to have to just be okay with it being really awkward, and don't be too embarrassed to start small and, you know, have some people make fun of you or have some people ghost you, ignore you. And by the way, sometimes they don't ignore you or they're not responding because they're not interested. It's just they're busy. They got, you know, things going on. They're not that sure what you're doing is legitimate yet. Like I had someone just join the team just this morning. This is a person I've been talking to on and off for 2 years. I had another person in my inbox over the weekend that I've been friends with for 6 years, you know, reaching out, asking questions. And it's just a timing thing, right? It's like Eric Worre says, you got to just find people at high noon when it's like the right time. And there's so many different ways to stay in touch, to get attention, to continue to nurture those relationships. But this is why you got to play the long game. And if you're in it to win it, you're building something long term, it doesn't matter how much rejection and how many people turn you down and how many no's you get. You know, because the way I look at it is eventually a lot of these people will come around. Eventually, a lot of these people, they're going to see your success. They're going to see your growth. They're going to see the new product you're launching. They're going to see something come across their newsfeed or a story you post, or maybe you're wishing them a happy birthday. And they're like, hey, I've been meaning to ask. I've been meaning to ask. So that's why, like Rob said, I want to plant that seed as soon as possible. Like I want to bring up my business or mention my product early on in the conversation. And then I want to show them that I'm a professional, and I'm going to continue to nurture that relationship over time. And I'm not going to just reach out to them when I got something to sell them. I'm not going to just reach out and connect with them when I'm trying to pitch them on my business. This is really important. And by the way, any other tips, any other insights for people that are wanting to recruit, they're wanting to make this their biggest and best year, and they want to rank up, they want to 10x their business, they want to recruit some new peeps?
Pick 3 days every single month where you go all out on a blitz, because, you know, we have our minimum goals, non-negotiable, right? We got our standard goals. Those are great. But like John was alluding to a little bit earlier, how it's instead of doing 25, say in a month, it's easier to compress time. It's just, you just get in this flow, and all of a sudden your energy's higher and your conversion rate's higher. And, you know, everybody's feeding off everybody else's energy as new people come in. So I would say go plan a blitz where you're going all out crazy. Now for you, maybe your crazy is you're pretty busy, and so maybe your crazy is different compared to someone else, whatever crazy is to you. And I would do that every single month for at least 3 days, so you can keep having those spikes.
What does that look like?
So for me personally, if we're focusing on recruiting, then that means we're focusing on new invites, whether it's the business or products. Now, I do believe if you're someone that's more products where you have more success, that's great. Have more of a focus there. but don't exclude making the business invites either. And some of those people could be current customers where you're asking the right conversations. You're not trying to force it on them or make them feel uncomfortable, of course. Love them where they're at, but still, sometimes we don't even ask them because we're so scared about pushing them. We don't even ask the questions when reality, of course, they'd like to earn their product for free. We use scary words like, do you want to start a business, instead of, hey, are you loving the products? Yeah, I'm loving the products. Great. You want me to show you a very simple way, a referral program we have for you to get your products for free? Yeah, why not? I love the products anyways. Might as well share them. Absolutely. Here's our system, right? Bam. Super simple. So if you're going to go do that over the course of 3 days, you're going to compress time. If normally I'm going to do 25 new invites, let's say in a week, then my goal is going to be to do at least 25 a day for 3 straight days, where I just go all out bananas, all out crazy. Because again, there's no rhyme or reason when things pop. I mean, I've had times where I worked harder and I didn't have as much success. Everything just ends up averaging out if you do the right things over the course of time. But having those blitzes and those little pops and those little spikes are important. It's just maintaining is fatigue, building is energy. Okay. Yes. Maintaining is fatigue, building is energy. And this helps you to stay in the building phase rather than the maintaining exhaustion phase.